1,511 as of June 10th, 2025. That is how many species of tardigrades there are. Of those, only 4 are known as fossil species, so get ready to see some wild things you most likely have never learned or heard about. From my Mars video, many of you all like our wonderful little water bears, the tardigrades. For those that don't know, water bear is their common name and tardigrade is the official name, which is a bit odd because they were first described by Johann August Ephraim Goes in 1773, and he called them Kleiner Wasserbeer, which means little water bear. So what are the little water bears? They are known as indestructible creatures. They live all over the world in some of the worst conditions, from hot springs to Antarctica. They can survive in space and without being in water because they enter what is called a tun state, where they turn into something almost like glass. I did a video on YouTube a long time ago about that. Tardigrades are mostly microscopic. The biggest is 2 millimeters and the smallest is around 50 microns. They live in water, at least a thin film of water, and are transparent, though some are semi-transparent and can be yellow, orange, brown, red, green, or charcoal gray. So there's obviously a lot of differences, and so when categorizing them or looking at their taxonomy, things start to get wild. So a refresh on biology. We go from the kingdom of Animalia, and next is phylum. There's a bunch in between there, but I'm going to keep it simple, so don't come at me, biologists. Tardigrades are their own phylum, called Tardigrada. Humans' phylum is Chordata, which means something that has what's called a notochord at some point in its life. There are now some other things in there again, but I'm trying to keep it simple. Tardigrades then come in 2 classes and a dubious 3rd class. The first class is the Tardigrada. These are the soft-bodied tardigrades most of us have seen. They're the largest and most diverse class. These tardigrades are mostly found in freshwater and terrestrial areas. They also don't really have any apparent appendages on their head, but their claws on the other hand are pretty bizarre, with most of them having 2 double claws on each leg. And what I mean by double claws is that they literally have these branching claws where it goes from one base into 2 tips, and it looks so weird. Their back openings is also different, with this class having their reproductive system and their waist system being connected to one opening. The second class is Heterotardigrada, and these can look absolutely insane. They often have armor plates on their body, not metal or anything like that, just a harder substance, making them look like little tanks, and they're so adorable. This is where the marine tardigrades are. Yes, marine, as in the ocean, with them having some terrestrial species as well. They also tend to have larger sensory appendages on their head, such as longer cirri, which are these hair-like feelers, and clavae, which are club-shaped sensory organs. And then for their claws, they tend to have 4 individual claws on each leg. For their waist and reproductive systems, those tend to have separate openings. The third class, well, there is drama in the tardigrade science world that has been going on for almost 100 years, but that is a whole other video. Speaking of which, do you all want a video on the top 10 or the top 20 strangest tardigrades I can find and what makes them unique?